Welcome to Friday Night at the OAT. I am so honored to be the first art teacher to host Friday Night at the OAT. Thank you, Dr. Harlow, so much for the invitation. I am beyond honored and thrilled to be here. So my name is Allison Cusato, and I am here to tell you my COVID story. I live and teach in Beijing, China, and I'm actually back to school. This is my classroom, which is why I'm wearing this mask. Before coming to Beijing, I taught in Virginia in a small town. Oh, we're back. And that's so exciting. I just love the bell, right? Okay. Anyway, so for 10 years, I taught primary and secondary art in small town Virginia. And then for 2 years after that, same town, same schools, I was teaching instructional technology to teachers. And then I decided I needed an adventure. So I started looking for a job and found myself in China. And it's been quite a wonderful adventure. I really enjoy it here. But with that in mind, I am here in an interesting spot as this has all been unfolding. Currently, I teach a UK curriculum to secondary students, 6th grade through 12th grade, and IGCSE and IB curriculum, if you're familiar at all. It's been a learning curve. Anyway, so I'm going to get to more of this story, but first I have to teach a class. Welcome back. All right, so that was just a little photograph of the school that I work at. Just the inside of the campus. Anyhow, so being in Beijing, I felt like I had a unique kind of perspective as things were unfolding just in China. And I thought it would be really helpful to blog about it, not only for people in China, but just in case it started to make its way outside and other people ended up in the same situation. So I know things were happening for you guys as well as for myself at the very beginning of the onset, just so rapidly. Lots of things, lots of decisions were being made super fast, and we were getting whiplash. And over here, the difference was that we were on vacation, and we were in different places throughout the world, and we were told first that we would come back at the end of our vacation and we would quarantine for 2 weeks while we taught online, and then we would go back to the classroom. And we've already established a method for us to be teaching online just in case there are too many poor air quality days in a row, and the local government says that it's necessary. So this was not something we were unprepared to do. But within a couple of days of that announcement, we were told, oh no, never mind, we don't know when we're going to come back, so it's best for you to go wherever you feel safest, and then just make sure that you can teach on Beijing time wherever you are. So people just went everywhere. Some of them came back here, some of them stayed in their vacation spot, and some of them went back to their home countries because their home countries were saying it was the safest place for them to be. I came back here to Beijing once I found out that my basic needs would be met and that I had all my resources here, and I'm quite comfortable in my apartment, so that was enough for me. I was convinced that this was the place to be. Also, my health insurance covers me here. It does not cover me back in the States, so that was another factor. If I did get sick, I wanted to make sure that I was going to have health care. All right, so a little bit about my school. My school is a little bit different from your typical American public school, especially the ones that I used to work for. This is a tuition-based school, and our students cannot be they have to be foreign passport holders. So none of them were born here. They are bilingual. Our school teaches both Chinese and English, so they have to be bilingual. They also, many of them come with a third or fourth or even fifth language. And that said, they all have their basic needs met. They have food, they have shelter, they have internet, they have devices. They, not the same kind of situation as your Title I schools might be facing. So it's just a little bit different, but that doesn't mean that they are not facing their own problems. There are still problems even with the privilege. Just like with us, we're all facing a different situation and we're all dealing with it in a different way. So are our students.
What do you think of that social distance picnic table in that last frame? I really wish that we could see through the dividers, but perhaps that's something to think about in the future. We have what we have, and it should work. Students should be able to sit at that picnic table and enjoy a nice lunch together, which is the whole point, to give some sort of normalcy, even if it is with opaque dividers at a picnic table. Anywho, so here we are. In the very beginning, when we first started to do online teaching, the very first week, we did not need to, we didn't have to be teaching live. So the second week, we had to be teaching live. We were told to teach live for the entire 50-minute lesson. This was not leaving much time for our students in between lessons because we generally don't have a 5-minute bell. So we kind of built that in on our own to give the kids time to, take a little break so they wouldn't be tardy to class. Regardless, some classes I think might have been lecturing for the entire 50 minutes. So students were left thinking that whatever work was assigned was for homework. Some students were under the impression that we were going to come back soon, so they were letting things go, thinking, well, I'll just catch up when we get to the classroom. And in both situations, things were beginning to pile up. Students were also complaining of headaches. Parents were complaining of too much homework, not enough homework. So we had a lot of different things to think about and try to address in the very beginnings. We cut down our classes to like 15 minutes tops online, and then allowing the students to get offline, and just having some different ways to kind of meet everybody's needs. Then we also introduced Wellness Wednesday, where we make assignments that are more like choice-based kind of boards for the students to be able to just have a nice time offline and do some learning, but not have parents needing to sit by them the whole time and help them. So those are some of the ways that we dealt with that, and I will tell you that engagement has dropped off since the beginning. We're now at week 12. The students who are diligent workers in the classroom, who are always, eager to learn and turn in all of their assignments, are the same ones that are still doing it now, speaking out during their during class time and just being awesome. And the ones that are hard to reach in the classroom are still the ones that are the hardest to reach not in the classroom. And we cannot beat ourselves up about that. This situation is what it is, and I just have to remind myself that we're all going through a major trauma together, and our wellness is the most important thing. Our student wellness is really more important than turning in assignments on time. So I'd like to use a baking analogy for the next couple of minutes. Bear with me. I don't bake, but I eat a lot of baked goods, and I've done a little baking in the past, so I have a little knowledge of what it's all about. Anyway, imagine, if you will, that whoever it is that's giving out all these directions, whether it be the government, school board, foundation of your school, whatever, imagine that person is up high, right? They're like at the top of a ladder, and they're holding a bag of powdered sugar, and they are passing it down to your administrator, and then your administrator has a sieve and a cake, right? And they have to take the powdered sugar in the amount of time that the person at the top of the ladder has told them they have, and put it through the sieve and make a nice dusting on this cake, and then hand the cake off to the teacher, and then the teacher then takes the cake and you know, tries it out, gives it a nice review, whatever, right? So generally, the way it works, the powdered sugar is given to our administrator. Our administrators are amazing filterers, right? They take that and they tap their little sieve. They let the powdered sugar come through. It makes a nice filtered, beautiful dusting on this cake. It's just gorgeous. They've taken out all of the bad stuff, right? They've made it just look gorgeous. And then they pass it off to the teacher. The teacher takes it home. They eat it. They make all kinds of yummy noises. They write a nice review. Hey, my school's the best. Look at what they did, right? This situation that we are all in currently has never happened before, and so we don't have time to go through those steps in a way that allows for good filtering. So what's happening is these people from above are tossing that bag of powdered sugar down to the administrators, who are then doing things like translating it really quickly and then passing it off in the 5 minutes that they have a chance to do. Or they're just given 5 minutes and they don't even need to translate it. But whatever the issue is, they're taking that bag of powdered sugar and they're dumping it in the sieve and they're smacking the side of it and stuff's going everywhere, and then, you know, they realize they've run out of time. They just dump the rest on top, and then they pass the cake over to the teacher and they're like, I made my deadline, but, you know, sorry. And the teacher gets it and is saying, what? Some people are throwing it right back at the administrator, like, no. And other people might take it home and go, oh, what in the world? And, you know, then their family feels it a little bit. Maybe they take it to school and their students feel it a little bit. Or maybe they just shout it out to all the stakeholders and community members that this is terrible and my school's not handling this well. Look at this cake. It's proof, right? So I'm trying to remember that we're all in this together. This is a big, just traumatic event that we're all living through, and we're all doing the best we can, even those amazing people above us who generally filter everything to make it perfect for us, right? So with that, I try to remember not to throw that cake back at them, because generally when I'm throwing a cake at somebody, I'm escalating, and if I'm escalating, then no matter how hard I'm trying not to show it, like, my students can tell that I'm escalating, and then they start to act really weird, and then, you know, and it's just like a whole chain reaction. Maybe my family's getting it, maybe my friends are feeling it, and they're like, I don't even want to spend time with you anymore. But whatever, like, I'm trying my best to just take that information, go a little crazy. I might go a little crazy, but I'm not gonna throw it back at my school. I can't. So I internalize and I try to give grace, and I take my time processing it on my own. But meanwhile, I'm going through the motions that I need to do. Right. So something to think about further down the line when you get back to school, you may find yourself in a situation like I'm in, where we are blending online learning and in-person learning. And the reason you may find yourself in this situation is not because your students and your teachers are all over the world like mine, but because your students who are in town might be given the option to not attend school and to instead attend online, because that's what we've been doing. We're offering that as an option. We want to make sure that our students feel safe and that our students' parents feel safe about sending them to school, and part of that is giving them choice. So you might find yourself in a situation where you are delivering an online lesson as well as in person simultaneously, what I've been doing at the moment is I type out my instructions to my juniors, because what is happening is my senior class and junior class are blended. So my juniors are still at home, my seniors are in person, so I type out the instructions and then I am teaching my seniors in person. But the thing is, the reason I'm not delivering it out loud is because I'm also watching students who are in other classes, taking classes from teachers who aren't in the room, who are outside of the country. Oh boy. And so, you know, I'm basically a substitute teacher and a teacher all in at once. And it should only be with the senior class, I believe. Once we get to the lower grades, that's going to stop. I will be teaching, I will be subbing for other classes, but it will not be during my own teaching period, if that makes sense. So, just be prepared. We're going to have to do a lot of weird things, bend in ways that we are not used to. So that's another one to think about and process a little bit. But yeah, I don't think that we're going to be in this situation forever. I think it's temporary. When I say temporary, I don't mean a few more months. I'm thinking it might last a little bit longer, but I really think that it's not going to be forever. We're not going to have to wear these masks in our classroom forever. We're not going to have to social distance forever. We will get back to some state of normal, but once we do, a lot's going to have changed. A lot of our habits will have changed. We'll all be used to just, putting those assignments up and recording ourselves anyway, so that, if a kid's sick, they don't have an excuse. Maybe our students will all have devices. I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think we as teachers are doing an amazing job, and we should really celebrate that and just keep that in mind, because we've become very much needed, and I think it's very apparent that our jobs are as important as we always knew that they were. Anyway, I think I've said about all that I need to say, and I just want to wish you all well. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Try to stay positive as much as you can, and thanks for watching. Thanks for having me. And thank you again, Dr. Harlow. I hope you have many, many more Friday Night at the Oats, and I can't wait to see some more participants. All right, signing off from Beijing.